to the Enchanted Unicorn Adventure. Alright, let's get to it. Aurora, who was known as Briar Rose at the time, was teaching her aunts how to plant a garden. For weeks they had tended to the seeds, watered, weeded, and waited, and the bugs were finally showing. This is worrying a fantastic girl. Oh? One day, hurry up, Mary said. It's be worth the wait, Briar Rose said. But Meriwether didn't like waiting. Later that night, she asked the other aunts, "You know what would make the flowers bloom?" she whispered. "To Lana? Magic? Or Flora?" "Goodness sake!" Flora imagined she went to the contest where their magic wands were hiding. "No wands?" she contested. "We promise." Everyone got ready for bed. But Briar Rosa couldn't fall asleep. Shouldn't it lend a surprise for her aunts? And she thought it might be Arriva that night, under the light of the moon. Something wonderful was happening. It's really easy. You just take a hole and the line. Here it is down there. You can see where the side. They're blooming! Briar Rose cried as she dashed down the stairs and out the front door. "But how could that be?" Fauna asked. "The sun has already set," Flora said to Meriwether, giving her a stern look. It wasn't me," Meriwether cried. Briar Rose ran outside, with her aunts following close behind. They were all excited to see the flowers. Yeah, the unicorn is to see. There are flowers. Sure enough, the garden was bursting with blooms. "Surprise!" Briar Rose shouted. "Incredible!" Flora exclaimed. "How can flower blooms with the sun? It's almost like magic." The work of the Briar Rose began. We planted the special seeds, even processing the moonflowers and night blooming flowers. "Fauna!" excited. "I should have known." Just then, a branch snapped. Briar Rose turned and couldn't believe her eyes. Then I gotta talk to people that you can breathe and see there. In the corner of the garden, a family of unicorns was grazing on the moonlight, the lunar blooms. The baby's horns glittered. Briar Rose's eyes were glued to the magical creatures. Unicorns only came out at night, for fear of being seen. Flora said to Briar Rose, "They must have smelled the flowers. They eat petals." Briar Rose plucked a few petals, then uttered her encouraging hand to the baby unicorn. It licked Briar Rose's hand as it ate. It ticked. "We should have let them be," maybe were suggested. "You can eat it as much as you want," Briar Rose said softly to the unicorn family. "Yours is the same, say for her." Here, Briar Rose and her aunts headed back to her cottage. It had been a great day, and Briar Rose was very proud of her night blooming flowers. She couldn't wait to check on her enchanted villagers the next night. It's what happened to the seed? They're like a couple. Just right. Meanwhile, Maleficent's raven was out for a night flight. He spotted something unusual and extra rushed it back to Maleficent. In her castle, Maleficent was not pleased. "Unicorns in that pixie cottage garden. We'll have to do something about that, she said. Maleficent didn't like anything out of the ordinary, and unicorns were the Maleficent didn't like anything out of the ordinary, and unicorns were the most extraordinary creatures of all. She would have none of it. When I'm through, no, one will be ever to enjoy those flowers. Maleficent began to perform her even plan. She knew how she could get rid of the enchanted creatures, but she would have to act fast. Her raven could feel back off to the garden. Moments later, a first first floated from the tower window. It moved fast, heading straight for Briar Rose Garden. Those unicorns will have a hard time finding something to eat now, Maleficent said. Early the next morning, Briar Rose rushed to the garden, but her expression quickly turned into constraint. What bad luck! She cried. She feared her garden was run even worse. It seems to her the unicorn's friends were out of food. Briar Rose had to help. She grabbed her clothes and a basket, then walked down a narrow path. Perhaps some flowers are blooming elsewhere in the forest. She thought. She noticed that the forest hadn't traveled far. Now we see. This is worth something, say. She walked until nightfall. Then Briar Rose caught a glimpse of a moving bush. It was the mother unicorn. The mother unicorn had been equestrian at a path of wildflowers. Are you trying to bring the food back for the baby? Briar Rose asked. The unicorn with it. Let me help, Briar Rose said. And together they plucked and exchanged the branches. When Briar Rose and the mother unicorn returned to the moonlighted garden, Briar Rose sprinkled petals across the snow. Let me hear. I want to dive with the very rings. The next morning, Briar Rose checked on her bracelet, and to her destiny, the flowers were already waiting. Briar Rose grabbed her the gardening book and flipped through the pages. I didn't let the frost stop and me then, and I won't let the wildflowers stop me now, she said. There are flowers that bloom, even when it's cold and snowy. Did we plant one in? Many were asked. We did, Briar was answered. Forget me nots. Well, with a little help, they be ready be nightfall. Easy, ordinary, meanwhile, ordinary. I would just kid meanwhile, the little said ordinary, up a little to town. But anywhere here. Briar Rose gathered her gardening tools while Mary-River Rose did the other ends. They carefully watered the plants to clear and then melt the snow. Next, Briar Rose entered the fauna, took the friends and ended the trimity to deep the leaves. Flora gathered the dustbin and cleared it away. By the end of the day, the garden looked good as new. And poking through the soil in the corner of the garden was a burst of flowers. The forget-me-nots has blooms. You sure that in my heart that my deal? Just then, the baby unicorn trotted forward and sniffed the blue petals. It started eating, and Briar Rose paddled to the creature's head. I can't believe I'd have enchanted friends to visit with every night, Briar Rose said. Then just their unicorns eat to really share. Flora gave it the the sideways glance. My dear, she began, as you know, flowers only last for the reason. I'm afraid unicorns are similar, Mary said. They don't stay in one place for long, Flora said. But don't fret, Fauna said. Maybe they'll come back again next year. Just like the flowers, Briar Rose replied, as did her aunt wrapped her in a warm hug. Briar Rose was certain of one thing. She couldn't amount any urgent that was for her way, especially with the help for her family. She doesn't she look at you enchanted Cinderella. A nighttime stroll. Where? There. Here. Cinderella, Cinderella, Gus yelled, running into Cinderella's room. There's a new house in the barn. Her name is Greta. Can she stay with us? Cinderella smiled at her mouse friend. Of course, she said. There's always room here for one more. Cinderella loved her mouse friends. She had rescued them from her stepmother's cat, Lucifer, before she met the prince. Now they live with her in the palace. Why you did like you didn't? Look at your face and Cinderella were you really easy. Cinderella and the mice got to work. They wanted to make their new friend feel right at home. The mice built a tiny bed for Greta and fixed a mouse-sized mattress with stretcher built from the palace lawn. Meanwhile, Cinderella strings Greta with some new clothes, and Gus made us a nightstand out of the spool of the stretch. Greta will sleep like a baby mouse, Gus said, placing a small delicate vase of flowers into the nightstand. Gus couldn't wait to introduce his new friend to Cinderella. Greta? Gus cried. This is Cinderella. The princess knelt to shake Greta in the tiny paw with her pinky finger. You're very welcome here, the princess said. You must be hungry. Greta patted her tummy and nodded. Cinderella smiled at her new mouse friend. Well, why don't we get yoga dressed and then we have a nice feeling dinner? Okay, we say, huh? You gotta choose to wear them. While the mice had been making Greta's bed, Cinderella's bird friends had princes a huge welcome feast. There was a baby Lucy salad, grilled cheese, and soup with tiny toast, corners, and every kind of nuts the palace kitchen starters. Greta happily got into the food. While the mice asked her all sorts of questions. Soon Gus and the sternest Greta, taking her by the paw, first showed her to her new bed. Oh, Greta said, clapping his delight. Such a snug bed. Thank you, thank you. Greta climbed into her bed and was soon fast asleep, snoring softly into her distant pillow. Really, really, really? There you see, look at your cookie. Where you see it? See it? Later that night, a short figure marched down a path in the royal garden. Hot, one of the virgins called. Who goes? There! The guards knelt down and appeared into the shouty line. Why is one of her precious mouse friends? He said. Greta in her eyes and looked around. Where am I? She asked. Cousins? The guard smiled and told Greta that she was in the garden. Then he walked her back to the palace. Ah, she maybe got a rose. The next morning, Greta told her new friends all about for her nighttime adventure. It was so strange, she said. One moment, I was in bed, all cozy and snug, having the nightest dream. And then what happened? Jack asked. I woke up in the garden, Greta explained, in my nightgown, with no idea I had gotten there. The mice gasped. I never sleepwalked before, not ever. Greta talking a bite of a blueberry. Everyone agrees. Sleepwalking was like a one-time thing. She was probably just getting used to her new bed. I'm sure it would happen again, Greta extremely carefully. Oh, she got a blueberry to couple with the blueberries. That night, Greta went to bed, confused she stayed, pulled it until morning. A few hours later, she woke up at the palace gates with no memory of how she'd gotten there. Then the night after that, she marched right through the gate and into the street. Rats, Greta said as a kind villager walked her back to the palace. Boo, 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 boo. I'm scared near him. I want to know more. Over the next few days, Cinderella and her mouse friends did everything they could to help Greta. Jack tried, giving her a glass of warm milk before bed. Always helps me sleep tight. He said, but that night, Greta woke up in the middle of the village. Gus tried to putting noises, printed paper around Greta's bed, but she marched right through it without blinking an eye. Cinderella tried putting a mouse beside the gate at the front floor, but Greta picked the lock and walls right out of the place. Without waking up, I didn't even know I could put the locks. There are the putting locks. There are here I didn't want. Greta said. You learn something new every day. Oh, every night. Gus agreed. Now what you're was is a take it short. You're getting yet, is she gonna say? No matter how hard Cinderella and her friends tried to keep Greta into the place, nothing worked. Every night, she walked up farther and farther away. Finally, early one morning, Greta woke up with her sore feet in a village. She didn't resist. She'd never been that far from the palace before. She couldn't even see it on the board in her. Where am I? The little mouse wondered out loud as she walked the streets. The town she'd slept into was tiny and quiet. Everyone was still asleep. Suddenly, Greta stopped. The most glorious smell was wafting out of a little shop. What about Tenja do we get? We're gonna hide with some. A cheese shop, Greta says. The glorious smell that partially had to her floating closer to the door was definitely cheese, but not just any cheese. I've never smelled a cheese like that. Greta munched it. It was stinky and rich. She was sure it would taste amazing. There go! I took a little leap. From get to the cheese shop. I solved the mystery, she said, bursting in the door after she had found her way back to the palace. Greta explained her last adventure to her friends. My nose heard that it has been leading me to cheese shop every night. She said, it just took me a while to get there. Hey, wait! Do get it, everyone! Everyone was curious about the amazing cheese. What it could smell so wonderful that it made Greta sleepwalk all the way to the next village. So, shortly after breakfast, Cinderella sent the royal carriage. Soon, her and her mouse friends were their way to the countryside. There he is, Greta said, pointed to the shop. The coach pulled to the stop, and the friends climbed out. The Humphrey Cheese shop owner was very surprised to find herself with none other than the royal princess and handsome of mice as his first customers of the day. The video elder would make it a friend like you could this day. It took Greta only a few seconds of sniffing around to extract the sticky cheese. She'd been sleeping around. It's this one, she said. The shop owner happy gave Greta and sample. Oh, it's gorgeous, Greta said. It's like sunrise and sunset and smelly feet all around into one. Cinderella was glad her new friend had found someone she enjoyed it so much. With a wink, added the shop owner. She brought and the editor the weeks the words of the cheese for her little friend. Just faster than I do. Ooh, I love my cheese. That night, Greta had a wonderful bedtime snack. Several tiny crackers smeared with her new favorite cheese. Yum, she said. That really hits the spot. Then, her tummy full, she snuggled into bed where she stayed all night. Peter Pan, an adventure for Wendy. See? Peter Pan and the Lost Boys love listening to Wendy's bedtime stories. Tinkerbell too never missed a telling. They all delight in her gripping tales of Western and the pirates, hidden treasures, and magical pixie dust. See? With my pixie crickets, to the dust. She got many are talking in there. But one night during his story time, the Lost Boys all looked at the board. Even Michael and John found her sisters as take dull. Please tell us a new story, Michael said. Where will I find the extended part of a fresh story? Wendy wondered aloud. Then it came to her Wendy's bedtime stories all started Peter Pan. All she needed for a brand new story was an adventure with Peter. That's within fasting fast. Within your new talking and bang. The next morning, Wendy bounded out of the bed, ready to join Peter Pan on an exciting excursion. But Peter was nowhere to be found. I'm sorry, old chaps, John said, pushing up his glasses. I saw Peter and Tink leaving extremely early for the firm outing this morning. You need Peter Pan to have an adventure, Nips. What will you do, Wendy? Tosu. It was true. Peter was always the daring hero of Wendy's story. But Wendy wasn't cautious. Now, boys, don't you worry, said Wendy. I'll just have to create my own story. The own adventure story. The Lost Boys looked at dresses, but Wendy was ahead for the seat, she said. There's always adventure to be had there. There on my there. It's like there on my exactly rhythm. Wendy took a shortcut through the jungle on her way to the water. She ran under the rushing waterfall, skipped over the stepping stones, and grating the strangest. That lived in a river. Then she looked up to the sea and saw her family racing between the trees. That looks like a grand time, exclaimed Wendy, founding an adventure and can't wait a little while longer, I'm sure. Whoa, this isn't a lot to see. So Wendy joined the fun of adventure, and the gorgeous swung high above the ground, from the tree to tree to tree. I wish I could spend all day with you, said Wendy when everyone did. He stopped to rest. But I'm in a string of an adventure. She would not let the lost boys down. Wendy said goodbye to her new friends, then headed toward the president that meet to say. Well, that's why I make. They are not going to see the bug. You see the girl full of finals. As Wendy skipped past the shimmery mermaid moving, she heard someone cried out, "Help! The little mermaid is still." Real on my head, thing must be. Oh dear, gasped Wendy. A mermaid was stuck in a fishing net. Her friends were nowhere to be seen. Finding a bedtime story would have to wait once again. Wendy dove into the water, swam toward the mermaid, and rescued her from the net. This is a ridiculous fish. Ooh, my heart from training. Thank you for saving me, curses the mermaid. You're so brave. You want to stay and play in the lagoon for a while. Wendy and the mermaid splashed and laughed in the water. This is so much fun, cried Wendy as she came out from a dip in the cove. But I really must be going. I still have to find my adventure. She left her mermaid friend and went off in the sheet of her bedtime story. There's theater game. Oh, you're the lost and the lost, and it could be the little room, a little hiding. Wendy hiked along the coast, past flying the plants and heading toward the rowboat. Cruising at the dock, once she reached the boat, Wendy thought she could finally start her adventure. Then she'd have a bedtime story to tell. But when Wendy arrived at the boat, she found the steams trying to steal it. Her bedtime story would have to wait. She couldn't let the steam to take the lost boy's boat. Hi, Digger. This is where they found the name. Now, scenes. You believe that that's the boat alone, warned Wendy. It belongs to the lost boys. The pirates granting. You have to find me for it first, little lass, he challenged. Wendy entered the wet sea, using all the swords, skills she'd learned from Peter, and a feel of her tricks of her own. Soon victory was for years as it was the boat. Her adventure could finally begin. Ah ha ha! Sure, the become. But as Wendy looked into the sky, she saw the sun was setting on the horizon. It was time to head back. Wendy returned to the hideout. Feeling different, she felt to have an adventure. There would be no new bedtime story that night. She stood outside the hideout, knowing her friends would be excited listening to the same old bedtime story. There's always tomorrow, she thought as she climbed into the hideout. Hey, bee, find out. Look at this. So can season. But it gets that were really easy being. When the lost boys gathered around, Wendy exclaimed, "I'm sorry, boys. I meant to do half a Mexican adventure today. But instead I squinted through the trees with extension to save the mermaid and fucked up the parrot. The lost boys listened in awe. Peter Pan was excited, swinging from the trees, swimming in the lagoon. Doesn't get to see. Oh, that's right here. I think when Missy does, she when she in the air. She just. Oh, Wendy, what a stinky day that you all had, Peter explained. You're so cautious, said John. The lost boys all agreed it was the best bedtime story Field ever heard. Hooray for Wendy! They cheered, looking back at her on her day. Wendy phrased her the day right. She created her own adventure all by herself. What a wonderful feeling! Oh, just make my log a little lost. That night, Wendy snuggled into her warm bed, dreaming about all the big adventures she had the next day. Sucking out. Little Mermaid, Ariel, and a ghost light. We're taking in here. Late one night, Ariel woke from her dream, heard the sound of someone coming. Where'd that be? They were going. Ariel's sister, Andrena, was very sick. She had woken with a fever and of the scariest sore spots. I'll bring you some night to Lily, Ariel whispered. First she picked a night till Lily made a powerful medicine. What is it that you drank away from now? They are my sickening. You can't? Cried the Oringa. Haven't you heard? The doctor wasn't being able to gather night to the lily for days. They say the flowers are covered by a ghost. Andrena failed in her throat, heard too much to talk. Megan is it making him from this day? A scared? They're from hurt? Ariel wasn't afraid for a ghost stories. Adrena needed the medicine right away, and Ariel was going to get it for her. She crept out of the palace and woke Flounder. Together they swam toward the agent of Adrena. That's right. I need to make. I'm gonna get this. Hi, there, someone. All the kingdoms brought her they saw the guards appearing out into the dark ocean. Small, like blue lights moving in the distance. What are they looking at? Asked Flounder. Shh. They hear you, Ariel whispers. Where are they? Mice from here? Look at this, Shay. There we are! One guard said, the ghost lights. They make you follow them and you could be lost forever. You sure about that? whispered Flounder. Maybe we should go back. Ariel shook her head frankly. She put Flounder along by the fin, and they took a street, came back as they sneaked past the guards. Yesterday, of the guards of my heart, you were stealing. The lights bothering it and danced as they got closer. What do you think it is? Asked Flounder. What does it look like, Flounder? Ariel asked. It's a shark. Flounder was so nervous. He could barely talk. But don't be such a guppy, Ariel replied. Sharks that don't glow. Come on! Ariel and Flounder kept swimming. I know, kept swimming. I know it. Who can I swim? When they swam closer, they saw the lights whirling in one big creature, but a school of fish. Each fish was covered in the glowing blue spots, and they circled above the night clouds. Here, the kid right over there. See, they can look at falls. One of the fish saw Ariel and Flounder. Can you help us? It cried. Are you going to make us follow you and we're to be lost forever? Flounder asked. Of course not. We're the ones who are lost, the fish replied. We're glowing toad fish. We belong near the shore. We tried to find our way back, but we always end up by these flowers. Oh, it's just here. I do. I know. How to help, Ariel said. Follow me, Ariel, Flounder, and the school of the fish swam up and up. Soon, their heads broke at the surface. From far away, the night flies looked like you, Ariel explained. That's why you keep swimming towards them. She pointed up to the night sky. Just follow that break as the star. You found the shore! The whole kids at free street thinking maybe I could the kiss. But everyone talking to them. Okay, I be good people who live on. The fish spun around and around Ariel in fangs. Then they swam off. Ariel and Flounder ducked down to the night lily field. This is really awesome. They picked as many flowers as they couldn't carry. A few minutes later, the border guards saw that what looked like two blue eyes racing out of the darkness at them. It's the ghost lights, they yelled. What did that just? I think this is hiding. Look at this thing. Oh, kid, this thing. Oh, look at this not this thing. Mergen high. Don't worry, it's just Mia and Flounder, called Ariel. The guards all laughed in a wreath. Where are these? Who can you make and find out? Princess, said one guard. You shouldn't be out past the border in the dark. I'm not afraid of the dark. Or the ghost stories, replied Ariel. Plus, my sister needs this medicine. Ariel and Flounder rushed to the palace with the glowing flowers. Oh, here. That's right. I wanted to be him. The next morning, Adriana felt so much better that she couldn't stop talking about how brave Ariel was. Hey! They're lovely seeing you today. Here, it's Estrella. A winning friendship. You see? One sunny morning, Merida leaped out of the bed and flew back to the streets. It was the perfect day for the games, a festival held in the spirit of fun and friendship. Looking out the window, she saw Caklanes arriving from across the kingdom. Merida could hardly wait to join the festival. Of the first she had to course to do. Hey guys, makeup. How I have the swalls. Do they have beautiful things? Walking out into the sunshine, Merida saw her parents, King Francis and a Queen Catherine. Standing between them was a boy. I want you to meet the ancient, King Francis said to Merida. His father is a dear friend from a neighboring land. I thought you could show him around. Merida was fearless. Now she could enjoy the games with someone her own age. They can use it to me. Not so good lyrics happening here. They have lots of right. From the festival grounds, Merida heard the sound of cheering. Come on, Merida, she said. The games are beginning. The cheers grew louder, and the diapers and drummers excited the start of the games. Hippie's wonder. Easy to follow here is a wonderful just to get there and a minor swimming Sammy. Waving goodbye to her parents, Merida grabbing it flew away. Queen Elizabeth watching them go. I hope they get along. But King Cousin was worried. I'm sure it will be a winning friendship, my love. Now which way was the copper toss? Merida knew where she wanted to go first. The factory field, surely. Cousin and would like it to shoot on a few arrows. Extreme in the nursery watches as Merida Bull's eye after Bull's eyes. When it was his turn, Kate's cousin I don't have a bow. Hey, you go first. Freaking I would be with you. Here, Merida said. You can borrow mine. Kara smiled at her kindness, and Rector he took to the bow. But he wasn't a cute actor Merida was. In fact, he wasn't much of an actor at all. His arrows, his everything, but the target. Every time he missed his explaining grew sadder. That's okay, Merida excused his curses. But she felt bad. She had just wanted to find something for them to do together. Then she had an idea. What kind of explain do you like? Explain picked it up. Come on, I'll show you. Who is the right earning or something? A kid that Merida toward a group of pipers, scooping a set of mattresses into his arms. He began playing. Merida was confused. But how do you win at the mattresses? She asked. You don't? Explained replied. You just play. She asked something with he got a bigger from it. Oh, this thing like you're gonna happen? You tried, you said, and passed the instrument to Merida. Hold these things and hold down with me. Holding grudges reminded Merida of wishes her brothers on that day, and when she tried to play too. What a practice! Kirsten saw that Merida wasn't having any fun. Now he felt bad. Let's go find something else to do, he exhorted. Oh, this and hackers try. Because it's really easy for them. Merida and Nurture confused to wander through the fractures. But neither was having much fun. It seemed like whatever she liked, he didn't, and whatever he enjoyed, she didn't. Merida wondered if there was anything she and Kandu could enjoy together. I'm still there are lots. There are happening to me. Just then, they came to the last tent at the festival. They stopped in front of a sign that read, Tecaster contest? Could you recite? I've always wanted to enter the contest. I love to sew, but I don't have a pet to make a costume for. Suddenly, Merida had an idea. Let me see. Sapphire Gigas. The wonder. There the city. Woo! They are dollar really. Merida told Custard to wait for her at the tent and hurried off. When she returned, Merida wasn't alone. She had brought Angus. He's perfect, Custard exclaimed. Merida was happy. Maybe this was something they could do together. They were excited to make Angus a new costume and win the contest. Woohoo! Daddy a pie, daddy a pie, daddy a pie. If I really taking lessons, there's something together. They set to work while Merida screeched and Cartoon sewed. While Cartoon cut Merida claimed, while Merida wiggled, continued to wobble it. Everybody who considers your focus to be to the nearest session. That's right. Boop, day equal. It was easy. Working as a team, they had created an outfit never ever before seen or worn by man or beast. I'm really sure it is. When the contest ended, Merida and Canoe had taken first prize. You were right, dear, said Queen Extras, watching as the new friends roll off of the stages. It was a winning friendship after all. Yay! I love really easy to winning. Beauty and the Beast, the bedtime story. Here. The sun was setting over the beast castle. Outside, the world was snowing and cold. But inside, Belle felt quite cozy. She had spent the past few days outside, talking her horse, Philip, on strolls and even having snowball fights with the beast. Belle watches through her window as the beast walked, leaped to the stables. Passing, he gave it the horse and Erictus, but kind, patted with his large paw. Please, I'm sorry with you. Could I have my get it? Suddenly, Chip bounced in. Belle, Belle, he called. It's story time. Now, Chip, Mrs. Potts said, coming in behind her soon. Son, you must wait for Belle to offer to read you a story. Perhaps she is turned and wishes to go to the bed. I'm all right, Belle replied, smiling. She'd gotten into the habit of reading bedtime stories with her new friends, and she'd been looking forward to it all day. Let's go down to the library. Yippee! Chip cried as he bounced out of the room. What do you think she said? Must be you her she calls. Yeah. Lumiere and Courage were already in the library when the trio arrived. The pair of pulled Belle's favorite chair close to the cracking fire. A warm blanket rested over the back, and a thick book with a worn leather cover sat on the seat. I thought perhaps we could read this one tonight, Coster sisters pointed at the book. Uh-huh. See? There's book in this room. There you have read it, tie. Lumiere purred at the cover. Helmets through the ages, a delightful history of a hunter. He read aloud? No. There must be some extras, some drama, perhaps lumber. Let's read an adventure story. One with big, scary monsters, Chip exclaimed. Nothing too scary, love. Mrs. Potts said gently. You don't want to have the nightmares. Uh-huh, see? They're gonna read the story. Fine. Belle thought for a moment, her eyes shifting to the colorful spines that lined the walls around them. Everyone wanted to read something so different. How would she find a story to make everyone happy? Then Belle had the end idea. Why don't we can make up our own bedtime story tonight? She excited. Oh, our own story. Chip asked excited. Yes, Belle clapped her hands. Well, so around in a circle and each at a line or two. It'll be fun. Comrade's idea, dear Mrs. Potts said. Me like to see. Lumiere agreed. Quite, Extra added. So the friends gathered around the fire, eager to begin. Let's use our squickity thing, you see. Everyone instead. That Belle go first. Okay, she agreed. She thought for a moment and then began once upon a time. There was a knight named Sir Sir Exeter was noble and brave. Wherever he went, he rode upon his trusty steed. She smiled, thinking of the leap. Did they fight dragons? Chip shouted. Bouncy elegant. Belle laughed at the teacup. Why don't you go next and tell us? This is a story. And I kind of want it here. I get it. Sirs went on lost of adventures. He found big, scary dragons and saved lots of princesses, Chip said. People came into his castle from all over to ask for his help. Ooh, I believe I have something to add, Corson said. Wonderful, Belle said, exerting. Sir, Exeter Castle was of the Exeter's vestry, a vast vestry on the Homo and Exeter Castle. The Exeter design was of kind of the shell keep and the rectangular keep. It had many lines of extension in the front form of multiply stone walls. The stone wood that was used was instructing. Questions to pause as he nodded to Lumiere gestured for him to finish Titi's part. Well, yes, I suppose that there was a few lines. Of course, this was you keep as a great about the standing. Belle said kindly, Lumiere, would you like to complain? But of course, the courtesan said, one day. Our hero, Circus Extra, did a heart about a fearless dragon, as all brave knights know where there is a dragon. There is often a princess, and so, dreaming of a rescuing the princess and finding true love, starting extremely set off to find the dragon, he soon found himself in an enchanted forest. A forest darkness was so dreamily dark that he could not see. Ooh, Mrs. Potts exclaims. I know what would happen next. As Sir Extra's eyes extruded, he saw something large resting in the distance. Mrs. Potts said, it extruded to be a dragon, but the creature didn't look like the knife. I found if we, in fact, it looked a bad sad. Why did he go? Mama Chibbit asked. We now have my turn, Chip. Mrs. Potts said. We've all had our turns. Commerce exclaimed. Who will to finish the tale? Suddenly, a coach came from just outside the library door. The groom turned to see the beast standing in the doorway. He had been listening to their story the whole time. Hello, Bell called. What? You cared to come in a help and us finish the story? No, the beast said disgustedly, turning to leave. I wanted to know what you'd say. Uh, you can do it, Lumiere said. It's easy, Chip added. Please, Belle said. There's a way for him to pull out a chair. Really? The story didn't make up on the sitting on high. All right. The bell beast started over and then sat next to to Bell. Well, I thought that. Maybe. I don't know. This is ridiculous, he said. Frightened nervous, Belle put her hand on his paws and smiled extra. He looked and then tried again. The knight saw that the dragon was upset and lonely. So Sir Extra talked to him, and something very ugly happened. The two of them became, well, friends. The end. Where is the secret story about him? The room was quiet for a moment. Then everyone began to speak at once. Charles Ben, Lumiere explains. Switches, sir, Cobus cried. Very well done, exclaimed Mrs. Potts said. Yes, Belle said. That was a wonderful bedtime story. She smiled at the beast, who seemed to keep surprising her, with the beast's perfect ending. Really? A story? Story upon with me. Toy Story. Toy Story of Terror. It was a dark and spooky night. A woman was being chased through an assembly by a vampiry. The vampiry was getting closer and closer. Suddenly, someone screamed, Run! Bestie, run! Rex called out. Bonnie and her family were in the car, on their way to the family vacation. Bonnie's toys were in the trunk of the car, watching a scary movie. Boring, Mrs. Potatoes headed to grumbled. Proceeded to her mixed exchanges. All were great. Honor feels started slowly. Mrs. Francis was an expert on scary movies. In fact, he excreted himself an expert on all movies and plays and books. Right now. Just do your dedications. Just bring. Inside the car, Bonnie rolled her eyes. Are we there yet? She asked with a yawn. Now we're thinking of few more hours, her mom replied. You can't go back to sleep. Come, just then the car hit a tire. The toys went flying. Jessie it fell into a toolbox, and the lid slammed shut. Help! She screamed. Really? I don't know where everything used. Woody and Buzz Lightyear jumped into action. The, the two forced open the box and helped Jessie to climb up. Jessie was shaking. I couldn't find a way out, she said, gasping. What's the matter with Jessie? Trixie whispered. She was externally in a box for years, Mr. Potato had explained. Outside, thunder boomed and lightning a flash. The storm was getting worse. Bonnie's mom pulled over at a Roman's motel. The family would be staying there until the tire on the dirt of the car was fixed. Bonnie reached into the trunk and gasped at her toys. A restaurant motel, if one of the most cardinal luxuries for among 100 him. Except the president pointed out the wood to dig the regions in their room. Mr. Potato had decided to go look around. I wouldn't go out there if I were you, Mrs. Texas. Wanted the first to leave, but usually gets it. Mr. Potato Head softly. He wasn't worried. The toys went after Mr. Potato Head, but he had visiting. Maybe placing is a hunting, Mr. Fixin the Wizards. The toys spilled up to look for a Mr. Potato Head. Suddenly Rex screamed. Ew! I spent stepping into something, he said, trying to go off his foot. As Buzz looked around, he realized that Mr. Potato had stepped in and did the same stuff. He had left a trail of footprints. Taxi followed the tracks to an air vent. As she looked down, she fell in and disappeared. What you get am I doing is this right? That was okay because there was before long ago. The toys followed Trixie into the vent with Buzz glow in the dark filters. Lighting the way. What happens now? Rex asked Mr. Curtis. This would be the part where the characters get the surprise and then depict off the one by one. Exerts the hunters. Seconds later, something. Strangers, Mr. questions them. It's next, Rex. Where Woody, Jessie, and Buzz looked at each other and ran. Just then, something so his characters out of the darkness towards them. It was Mr. Potato Head's arm. It's trying to tell her something. But Buzz said, "It's the number. It's the number one." What he said. I think maybe it's a pointing up. Jessie said. Now, we hear from the kiss. Who's there? A fairy tale. Guess what? Here. There's a light in there. Above the toys was a vent. The trio followed it into a bathroom. As Jessie looked around, something struck Woody and Buzz. Then something pulled Jessie under the sink. It was Connor Capicarl, a soldier toy with a missing hand. This place isn't safe for toys. He warned her, Jessie cried. Jordan Carlton never gives up. The soldier toy, he said, they could come back. So Carl finds a way. The toys did try to run, but something pressed her combat. Carl. Jessie was on her own. Where did Maggie from there? Hi! Did Maggie see them? The cowgirl hid in the bathtub. Seconds later, she heard a loud roar. cloth just distributed at the shower curtain. As the sheet Jessie the back of it and the extra appeared. It had Mr. Potato. It had an around arm in its mouth. Its mouth. Hmm. Jessie heard for the worst, but the India that was extremely friendly. It smashed the arm in the one garden and then gave Jessie a big lick, grabbing her gently in his mouth. The India carried the cowboy to a room behind the models and the lobby. He set her in a basket and rang the bell. Ding! Let's try to find explaining it, the mother said. Coming into the back room, he had trained his pet in India to steal toys from the motel. Guess it's just so he could spell. On the extras, the matriarch posted to Jesse's pictures on a description and put her in a glass cabinet. Cowboys friends. Where to Carol and his friend commented Carl Jr. All right, okay, you're here, you can going up to I wanna be. Oh, a few minutes later, listen, the nature returned. He was checking his computer. He had sold Woody. Returning into the cottage, the grabbing the cowboy and packed him in a box. A delivery truck would be arriving soon to pick up the packages. Woody! Jessie whispered sadly. What started out as a classic honor him has turned into something more of an entertaining Mr. Organization. A few minutes later, the master saw Jessie too. He had just taken her out when demonstrating an algorithm to fix the bodies of our family's tire. The manager put Jessie down and went to speak with the mistress. Jessie tried to unlock the country, but she didn't reach the latch. Even worse, the delivery truck had arrived. The driver came into the back room and took the packages with the Woody inside. Jessie didn't know what to do, but the compatible Carl had a look at plan. Listen, he had it in 2 minutes. The delivery lady is going to come through the door and take the other boxes, and you're going to be in one of them. I can stuck with Roga out there missing from them. Something was doing on it, you see. Jessie practice. I can get it in a box, she said. Jessie, the soldier shouted. When it comes back a Carol, he gets stuck in a jam. He says it to herself. Combat Carol never gives up. Combat Carol finds a way. No, he said it. He orders Jessie to try to combat. Carol never gives up. Carol, you not to Carol, but combat Carol. He shouted at her. Oh, Jessie, never gives up. Jessie finds a way. The girl tries finally understanding. Do you want to say it's really them? Jessie snuck into the empty boldly, opening one of the boxes the Magister had packed. She freed a robot toy. Robot Jessie crouched into the box in the robot's place. If she could get on the delivery truck, she could free Woody. The plan was working until the delivery lady taped the box shut and threw it in the truck. Jessie began to panic. Then she remembered. Compact Carol's words. Jessie never gives up. Jessie finds a way, she told herself, feeling around the cowboy, found the paper clip. She used it to slip into the tape and it crawled out of the box. Then Jessie and found Woody. The two would return right to the back room to free their friends. See. Look around. Suddenly, Jessie heard Bonnie's voice coming from the lobby. The tire was fixed. Bonnie's family was getting ready to leave. The cowgirl raced toward the certainly that spent the back room from the lobby. She was almost there when Morrison Jones caught to her. Jessie kicked the India, and he spit something out. My hand! Called back Carl, shouting from inside the curtains. Mr. Potato, his arm that was also the India's mouth. Jessie grabbed the arm and used it to pull the surgeon open. At the moment, Bonnie looked through the curtain and saw the curtain. My toys! She cried, running into the back room. Are those my daughter's toys? Bonnie's mom asked the nervous mistress. Meanwhile, Mr. Johnson put Jessie in the basket on the floor and rang the bell. Looking down, Bonnie saw the cowgirl. Jessie, the little girl shouted, pointing at her doll. You can see, you can there. Where would your friend go? I see it. Later, back in the truck, a Bonnie's family, a car. The toy celebrated. You did it, Jessie. You saved us all. Buzz said. Jess didn't give up. Jessie found a way, the cowgirl said. Mr. Potato Head looked fondly at his arms. We ain't never gonna get excited again, he said. Kaboom! Just then, the car hit a bump, and Mr. Potato Head's parts scratching around the funk. Ah, nuts, she said. Everyone laughed, and that Mr. Curtis nodded was a short sign the story that reached his hand. Aha! There we really get the most. Everyone who ate her got it. Frozen. A royal sleepover. No. Elsa Anna nodded. Her sleeping sister. Come on, wake up, Elsa expressed gravely. Go back to bed, Anna. It's the middle of the night, she said. I can't sleep. Anna floated down on Elsa's bed. Then Anna smiled sleepily to herself. She knew how to get Elsa out of the bed. Want to have a sleepover? This time, Elsa opened her eyes and grinned. That sounded like a lot of fun. See? Really, I keep from Xing? Not yet. But first, to go little bring a problem down. Wow, Anna went to her room to find the extra pillows and blankets. Elsa headed to the kitchen to get the extra for her famous honeycombs. After all, a sleepover wasn't a sleepover without snacks. Drink me, please. When Elsa got back to her room, she found Anna digging through the closet. She was looking for something. Anna cried. I knew it was here. Anna held it up an old worn book. Her parents had to read it to the sisters every night when they were little. Let's see. We got books, games, and his face cream. Oaken gave me the last time I went to the protecting post. Anna said. She opened the cream. It looks like kinda Ruby. That's a lot. Let's have that for later. It's It's another idea. Look at Pasty. Elsa looked around. It had been a lot of time since she'd have a sleepover. So, what should we do first? She asked. Anna was ready. It held about a week to put up a fort. Like when we were kids. She sketches. You see, but you're on my place. Right, I can irritation. Distracted pillows and blankets around the room, making lookouts and hidden caves. Meanwhile, Elsa created icy tunnels and snowy circuits. This is fun, Elsa said, putting the finishing touches on an icy wedges. I think we should add a smack. Elsa fed something soft and feathery hit her back. She turned to see a falling pillow and a giggling Anna. Oh no, you don't? Elsa yelled, landing a snowball at her first sister. Anna ducked, squeezing in delight. There, check out with the little brownie from See Her News. Come on, get it right now. Olaf came into the castle to see what the sisters were up to. Elsa explained that they were having a sleepover and invited Olaf to join them. A sleepover? Olaf asked, excited. Oh, I've always wanted to have one of those. He paused. Was a sleepover? Well, show you. Anna said. Come on! Come on! I bet you could be great at pickup sticks. We're gonna get pickup sticks. You're right. Get it on my use. Anna was right. Olaf was a natural at the fun the game. Anna was great at work of art. She gets the drowning and distracting every time. Chances it proved to be a bit more challenging. Olaf twists his body his way and that, making Francis grinches and grinning weary. The sisters didn't know what the answer could be. Finally, Elsa had an idea. Olaf, are you acting out somewhere? She asked. Yes, he cried. You're good at this. Who could take a magical with their natural place? I suggest ghost. You can see my heart really is being used. Elsa laughed. Maybe it's time to do something else, she said. How about the scary story? Anna went to first, using her spookiest, most artistic voice. She even held a candle up to her face, casting straight shadows on the wall behind her. Order to legend, the curtain hosting only comes out on nights like these. Looking for this next day, she said. How do you know when the history is around? Olaf asked. He let out a low moan. Anna answered, ooh, a sad whine echoed through the room. Wow, that's really scary, Anna. Olaf said, expressing really scary itinerary. Is it easy? No, higher is not. Anna blinked. That wasn't me. Ooh. The cry sounded like it was coming from outside the castle. A sudden noise made them all jump. Elsa, Anna, and Olaf ran to the window. The shadowy figure was walking towards them. Stay here, Elsa said, running down the ball hall. But Anna and Ola followed. They couldn't let Elsa face the hurting alone. What is that, dear? I'm meeting. Elsa opened the castle door, and the friends peered into the darkness. Olaf held Anna's hand, bracing himself for her the hairy hexer of pointed teeth and sharp claws. They are neat problems of claws. Herget, you do? But it wasn't a mother off after all. It was Sven. Sven! Elsa called out. What's the matter? Anna took one. They looked at the ranger and guessed what was going on. You can sleep? Could you? Sven? She patted him gently on the nose. I bet Kristoff is snoring and it keeps you awake. The troll said to his snores and loud enough to start exercises. Sven nodded. You should come to our sleepover. Oh, Olaf said. Well, what heck I can tell. There's very little sleeping invited. All right. See, I my heart to my offering of patience. There's no her comment. Soon, the group was happily settling in Elsa's room. Anna got to Sven and Olaf to try the face cream from Oaken, and they all laughed as the goop slid down their chins. How about another story? Elsa explained. Holding up a book, explained. Anna agreed that she folded in some pillows, and she, Olaf, and Sven got comfortable as Elsa began reading. Like all day and read. What? How about story? Oh, maybe you're not. A little while later, Elsa finished the story. She looked up, hearing the sounds of heavy breathing around her. The rest of the slumber party had fallen asleep. Smiling, Elsa put down the book. She gently took in Anna, Olaf, and Sven, and climbed into bed. Then, with one last look at Anna and her friends, Elsa, too, drifted off to sleep. This is kind of really, but is from the book? Where is my book? Yeah, she's over reading a book.